Okay, guys, team of the season time. It's going to be a two-parter. We're going to do one with Man City players in it, but because they're so good, we're going to do another one without Man City players. So enjoy this one, and then enjoy the next one when we do it, which will be in 15 minutes' time. So, Nubaid and Abbi, join me. We've got their teams of the season here. We've got a 4-3-3. We've got another 4-3-3. And then Abby's trying to be difficult with a 4-1-3-2. But these are, they're very fluid formations. Let's make our way through. First of all, goalkeepers. Me and you, Nubaid, have both gone with Alisson. Abbi, Spurs fan Abbi, just chucked Ramsdale in there.
I have chucked
Defend your boy.
Oh my God, firstly, he's not my boy. Look, it was a difficult one. I did consider Alisson. I also considered David Raya. I also considered Nick Pope. For me, I know that Ramsdale maybe did drop off a little bit at the end, but I just feel like he's just changed the way Arsenal are. I mean, he signed for quite a big fee, in all honesty, for a goalkeeper, one that actually got relegated. Everyone made a little bit of a laugh and a joke at it. Yep. But I think he's really confident in terms of playing out from the back. Distribution's good. He commands that area really, really well. He's made some unbelievable saves this season. I think, against Bournemouth, Newcastle, Liverpool, those are the ones that spring to mind off the top of my head. Yes, he has made some mistakes. I know what you're going to say, but he gets the crowd going. I think
He gets the crowd going.
He does. He's a proper nuisance.
Yeah, he's been fun, hasn't he? Yeah,
he's heavily influenced, I think, in terms of how good Arsenal have been defensively. I know, obviously, they've missed Saliba, which we'll move on to as well. But I think that he's been key, and I think that he's a very big improvement on the likes of Leno. I think even Czech at the end of his career, and I think that he's someone that's going to be there for a very long time. And I think he's been really good this season, and that's coming from a Spurs fan.
Honourable mentions, Leno is a good one. He's had a fantastic season. David Raya as well, kind of missed out. I think quite possibly it's that sort of mid-table. Oh, we forgot about those two. Both in terms of the statistics have been very, very impressive. Both went with Alisson, who, when it comes to those stats as well, has been fantastic for a Liverpool side that's been leaky this year.
Well, Liverpool have been tinkering the back line. They've had positional changes. Anything can change. Alisson doesn't change. And I think he's this goalkeeper that he keeps you alive in games. He makes goalkeeping look very easy. And I think people can sort of forget how good he is because he's always in the right position. Very rarely makes a mistake. Obviously has the odd occasional mistake in him. But I do just think he's the best all-rounded keeper in the league.
Right, moving into defence. Nubaid, talk me through your back four, and then we can give our other options of players that weren't in your back four.
Right back with Trippier. I honestly don't think there's any other option, actually. I think he's been pretty consistent for nearly 70% of the season. He's also been one of Newcastle's most creative players. I think he's one of the most creative players in the league as well. Next door to him, Ruben Diaz. Again, another one of these players at the moment, when he's playing, you know what you're going to get. You know what he's all about, and he's a proper leader, and City lacked that in the first period. We were all saying, this isn't the real City. He comes back in. The real City are back. Yeah. Sven Botman, two Newcastle defenders in there, although I think they tailed off towards the end of the season. The first half of the season is why they ended up in the top four. And he's
their defensive numbers have been fantastic.
Yeah,
well.
And he's that bit of quality at the back that I think goes a little bit unnoticed because Fabian Schär is so good looking. And you can't argue him.
I really hope the camera wasn't on me there because I was biting my lip.
Zoom in on that, please.
I'm not ashamed of.
And then Estupinian. Again, I think in the fullback areas, I think that we haven't had that many options this season.
Left back feels weak this year.
Definitely.
Right?
There's probably Shaw, but then he plays centre back for a large period, and then there was a period he played back three, and he was in there.
I put Ake there.
Ake.
Yeah.
Ake only played 12 games at left back.
But it's difficult because, like you said with Shaw, I think was better actually in defence for me personally, but I can't put him in defence because he hasn't played there for a long enough period of time. So I went with Ake.
Yeah, it says like really making splash. Moreno for Villa's been really good, but too late. Him kind of coming into the team. I went with Estupinian as well. In terms of a difference from mine to yours, it's actually the centre back options for the three of us in terms of the centre backs. We both went with Saliba. I think, some people were kind of trying to dismiss the idea that him not being in the team wasn't the reason why the goals sort of started to sort of go in for Arsenal. I totally disagree. I think he's fantastic.
I agree.
I think he's absolutely wonderful, and I think especially on that right hand side, there's moments where he was under that little bit of pressure, and it's a feeling that kind of resonates or ripples to the rest of the team, and I think when we talk about Arsenal and their depth not being good enough to win a league, I think that's the starting point for that is the centre-back position. I think that is an area they need to strengthen because if he's not available, it didn't fall apart, but I just think he's so good on the ball as well. Don't you think, Abbi?
Yeah, I think, he's commanding, he's quick, he's so athletic. They can play higher up the pitch when they've got him there. He formed that good partnership with Gabriel as well. He can kind of sweep up and in behind. And I do think they really missed him during that run-in. Yeah. I think that, he's not the sole reason they didn't end up winning the league, but it was a big miss for them. And I think that when you see a player like that, who actually didn't even want to come back to Arsenal at one point, I think he was on
loan. And I got screamed at saying he would start for Arsenal. Sorry, I was quite aggressive at you there, Abbi.
Yeah.
It was not. It was, the people. They're saying no. It's not going to be him. It's going to be.
He's been a real revelation for them. I don't even think Arsenal fans could have foreseen, as you just touched on, that he would have been as good as he's been for them. And you can see the big miss when he's not in the side. What they need to do is obviously, like you said, strengthen depth. They need to work that. I know they bought Kirior in January, but for me, Rob Holding isn't the idea. Maybe if they would have played Kirior more than Rob Holding, maybe that could have been a difference.
Yeah, but also I guess they tweaked Ben White's role as well.
Who's been outstanding as well for me.
But I think I think everyone thought he was going to be a centre back, and actually he turned out to be a right back for them. So the centre back position for us, we've got sort of three different options here, because you've got Diaz. I actually went with Stones. And you went with Akanji.
Yes, I went with Akanji. I think when he came in was quite an underrated signing. Came from Dortmund, 15 million. Not much real hype around him. Why would there be? But he's been an absolute bargain. He is so incredibly versatile. I love watching him play. He's so comfortable when it's bringing the ball forward, defends well. I just think the improvement that we've seen from him this season, even from the start, has been unbelievable. And that's a real testament to obviously his work rate, Pep as well. And when you think about Laporte, I know last season was like hanging on by a thread and, getting all the injections just to stay fit. But when you literally oust like a staple of that back line for City, I think you have to give credit where it's due. And I've seen him come on leaps and bounds this season. I think he's been brilliant.
I had to go with Stones. I just think, he's not revolutionised anything really, but like for him to be playing in midfield or stepping into midfield, but also defensively so strong prior to that, for me, I get why Diaz is in there for you. I just think Stones has just been so fantastic in a few different ways.
Agreed. I agree fully with you on that one.
Yeah. Midfield. So, I've got a 4-1-3-2.
What is going on?
I know.
Did we do the
I
same
thought I had a
formation?
4-3-3. Sorry, I was getting mixed up.
Formation?
No, we're not.
He's doing a reverse of your
I'm wiggling about because I had to get someone into this team. So I'll just go through mine briefly as Nubaid squints and looks at it. I had Casemiro, Saka, KDB, and Rashford. So Casemiro's sitting there as the pivot. I just think Rodri, I get it if you want to go with him, but for me in my midfield, I think Odegaard's unlucky here as well. But I couldn't fit him in. KDB, when you needed him to step up, he still is the guy that you can rely on. He's still absolutely wonderful. Rashford has had such a great season, and from where he was to where he is, I think it's huge for him. Obviously fallen off a little bit, but still, it's been brilliant. Saka, similar thing, but in terms of his goal involvements for someone so young, I think had to be in there as well. And Casemiro ahead of Rodri for me, because I just think they're lost without him.
Did you say that's crazy?
That's crazy.
I agree.
I just think they're lost without him.
Especially when this is the City team. Like, this is one where we're including City players.
I think Rodri's the best holding midfielder in the world.
Absolutely.
By a long way. And what I take into account there is I do think Casemiro's massively helped United, but United were horrific. So it was only going to help them. Obviously, they've improved, but then I go... He's picked up, I don't know exactly how many cards, but he's missed.
But the suspensions are misleading, I think, because some of those shouldn't have occurred.
Yeah, but they did. So in my mind, I got Rodri, who'll play 38 games. And even more, he's played every game in every competition, and he's holding off Calvin Phillips.
Okay, what I would say, I don't think Rodri goes into that Man United team and does as well for the team as a whole as Casemiro.
No.
Yes.
No, that is a crazy...
Intangibles, going and reading the play, like anticipation, interceptions, that was the word I was initially looking for. Like, I think Casemiro, the leadership that he provides as well. Rodri is unbelievable, and he's unbelievable in that Man City team. But I think if he didn't have everything around him like he does at Man City, he'd still be amazing, but I don't think he'd be as good as Casemiro.
It's a wild take. I mean,
look,
when we get to the other team, I have given Casemiro a shout without the City players, but for me, when City is involved, Rodri, he is just so incredibly elite. He's the glue for me that holds it together. He can pick a pass. He comes up with the odd goal. No. It all goes through him.
You could say that for any other player.
And also, he's so tactically astute as well. For me, he's just unbelievable. I mean, there is no one that gets in above him when there is a City player included. For me, I think he's probably one of the best in the world, maybe best in the league in that position.
Okay, other midfielders. We've got 2 Man City ones for you, Nubaid. So you've gone Rodri, KDB, and Gundogan.
Yeah.
Recency bias there?
I mean, if you know me, you know I've loved Gundo all season. I
Yeah,
think he's so reliable. He's played as a 6, he's played as an 8, he's played as a sort of late arriving midfielder. When they need him, he comes clutch every single time. And I think that's an invaluable quality when you're in a title race, because part of the reason they won the league is when they're playing Everton in that difficult game, Gundogan comes up with 2 moments of just pure genius. And they have the best midfield in the league. Like, I don't think anyone can argue that, and that's without the depth. Just Gundogan, Rodri, KDB. So had to stitch them together.
Okay.
Abbi,
Grealish and Odegaard.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Stuck in there.
I've got De Bruyne in there as well. Grealish for me, I mean, hugely improved. I mean, massively improved. I think he's fully settled into that side now. I think he's also been key for the second half of the season, as to why City have also been so good and they've got themselves over the line. What are you two not doing?
I think Nubaid's looking at your team, but Grealish would be on the left on this team. What we're seeing, and Odegaard would be on the right.
Grealish is playing as a narrow central midfielder.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's not. He'd
He's
be
not.
on the left.
He's not.
Only been right.
He's not. I just needed to put it on the document. That was all.
Yeah.
But I think he's been so good. I think his work rate's been exceptional, tracking back, going forward. The only thing I will say, needs more goals and assists. That's the only thing I would say. But I'm really impressed with how he's come on. I think it's 5 goals, 7 assists. But for me, having that price tag on your back is a very big thing. And, you know, last season people were proper writing him off straight away. I think it takes time, as we've seen with any player, to settle into the Pep Guardiola style, what he wants from the team. And I'm finally seeing it click. And I think he's going to be so important to City moving forward. I think he's been brilliant.
We've both got Kane and Haaland. That's why we've got our squiffy formation.
Yeah.
I just had to put Kane in there. Kane has to be in the team of the
100%.
season. It's a joke if you don't put him in there. Nubaid,
The way he's teed that up, he's like, it's a joke.
So your front 3, Salah, Haaland, Martinelli.
Yeah. I've got Haaland's a given. And,
Sure.
I couldn't stitch Kane in there because he can only play through the middle.
You
And
could
I'm not
have
playing Haaland out
you
wide.
could have our formation.
I don't want to play this. I don't want to play this crazy formation. I think Salah on one end. There's obviously a bit of bias there. It was between Salah and Saka, and I think they're closely matched. But when crunch time came, I don't think Saka was on it. And when crunch time came for Salah, he was on it. 19 goals, 12 assists. Saka finished with 14 and 11. And on the flip side, I think Martinelli he's actually the guy. I think like they can give him the ball in any situation, and he's always up for it, regardless of the fullback, regardless of who's out there. And when he was injured during the season, they really struggled for that final ball quality. So I think Kane could go in the team, but Kane, add some versatility to your game, fella. Don't play left wing.
He's been playing centre midfield for like half
to be
the
fair,
game.
he has played in goal for Tottenham before, so you can actually put him anywhere.
Good point. All right, guys, what is your team of the season with Man City players?
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.